It occurs to me you might like to see an update. It's the second weekend. This is the 4th of July weekend, so I actually had 3 days this weekend to work on it. I had Friday off from work. And this is the current state. I just finished putting the backs in the bottom halves. Of course, since the last time you saw them, they've been stained. Could not find the exact color. I started staining with some stain that I had left over, and when I ran out, I went to the store to find out they don't make that color anymore, that exact color. So I went with a contrasting color for the outsides. You'll notice the insides have a more redder tinge to them, and the outsides are just your basic oak. But that's the bottoms of them. Now the very bottom trim there you see, I'm going to paint that black to match the top halves, which I have painted black. You'll notice I don't have quite the whole back in this top, and that is because I need to cut a spare piece to fit in there. But that's the flooring stuck up behind the, and I'm gonna do something I probably should never do, and that is to show you the back of a construction project, because this is where you hide all the mistakes. And you get off of there. And here you can see the flooring glued and stapled down. All the mismarks and all that. I think that Luan, I think, turned out pretty good for the back. There was one good side of Luan, so I stained that before I even put it in place. Stained it, polyurethaned it so it has nice gloss. And then I stapled it to the back. But taking a bit of a rest right now. I've got to put the back in the second upper piece. I'm going to pull all those parts out now. And then comes the hard work, my friends, because then I have to tear up the whole dining room to make room for these lovely pieces of new display furniture. So wish me luck on that. And here at long last are the 98% finished cases. What you see at the bottom there, that raw wood, I need to paint black trim on, and that's going to take me all of 10 minutes to do. And then touch up the black where I had to scuff it up, getting those last back pieces on. Now imagine some wonderful glass shelves, and of course scads of wonderful models in there, and you'll get an idea of how they are meant to function. Of course, there'll be plenty of books in the bottom shelves. Books, my man, books. I made a wonderful discovery. Hold on, let me change the light balance. There you go. I've made a lovely discovery. Underneath this ratty 1970s carpet is some beautiful hardwood floors. Now, I suspected as much, but I was kind of, I got maybe one little stain over here and one thing here that I can deal with. There was a piano leg there that I think caused a bit of damage. But my house was built in 1949. It was carpeted in the mid-70s with this textured tile that you see here. And underneath it, beautiful hardwoods. I was kind of afraid, I'll be honest. Once you pull up the carpeting, you never know what you're going to find underneath, and I was more than ready to tack it back down and pat it and pretend I never saw it. But from taking carpeting up in other rooms, I had reason to hope. And only reason I'm showing you only this much of the room because the rest of it is complete chaos. But here is one cabinet in place. I have to push it further back against the wall. But these shelves here have to come out so that I can put the top shelves in there, and then I'll rework this wall with refigured shelving after I get the new shelving unit in. But I wanted you to see this slight bit of progress. And look at here, it is a shelf in place with the topper on it and the glass shelves in place. Still playing with putting a piece of material on this, but that's the stated goal, and that's it in practice. Now I just need to clear out the rest of the room and put the one on the other side of the window that you're not seeing right now. And then I have taken everything off of that wall, and I need to put some shelving back up on that to take care of the ships that I took down. I'm probably gonna use some of the extra glass shelves that I got and put them straight there. But nice. Okay, we're into day 2, actually / day 3 of the reorganization, and it continues. It will be a work in progress for a while. Right now it is a module version of Tetris as I move things around and around, because I have a limited amount of space, and to make space somewhere else I have to clear space off from someplace else I have to trim. So I am cleaning up a place. There are the glass shelves up in place with the kits back on them, such that I have room to move other things to fill said space. So that's a roundabout way of saying I got to move a bunch of crap around. But I've got, this is the floor again. I've got the carpeting up. I am getting ready to cut up the next chunk of carpeting, but I have to clear out space to make it. This is the next victim. It is, these shelves have to come out, and everything that's on them has to go somewhere else, so that I can rip the carpeting out from underneath them, put the new cabinets in, and then put the shelves back, or put the models back on the shelves in the new cabinets. Now these shelves have new purposes to go to. I've got other corners in the house I can move them to, so they will not be going to waste. But as you can see, I've got a first stab at the books that are going to be occupying the bottom shelf. Again, those were the very books that I needed to make the shelf the same size for. So, and the second shelf is the size of the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Modeler magazine. So that's why those shelves are that height. And it's actually giving me quite a nice display space. I'm able to pick models from all over the rest of the house and move them into one central location. And let me try this without the lights so you can see. I can actually plug some in and have them displayed nice and lit. So that's another good goal of the whole day. And it casts a nice shadow up on the ceiling. So I know I'm rambling, but I'm tired. And on we go. Actually, I'm stalling to get on to the next thing. Well, it's that time in a project when everything you think you've got right suddenly kicks your ass. I'm down to the last tiny bit of finishing the last shelf. I've got it in place. I've got it set up on top of the other, and here's where you get lied to. Everyone knows a 2x4 isn't exactly 2 inches by 4 inches. You take that as the standard. When you buy panels that say they are 1 foot wide by 3 foot tall, measure them anyway. Because here's the problem I've got. This is the cabinet that I'd put the back in yesterday. That's very nicely done, all ready to receive the glass shelves. Glass shelves that are 1 foot wide. There is the glass shelf. And look, when it says it's 1 foot wide, it's even 11 7/8 wide. It's not a full 12 inches. But guess what? Neither is this opening. it's tough to see with the black on black. It's about 11 and, zoom in on that. About 11 and 7/8. The result of this is these glass shelves are not fitting in the cabinet. And they're not fitting in the cabinet because they are too wide from between here and here. Glass is an immutable object. This is tempered glass. It don't sand, it don't trim, it don't cut. Now you might have a glass cutter out there that cuts glass. I don't. So here's my problem. I've got a space here that is not wide enough for the glass that I've got to go in it. The only thing I could think to do is to take the back off of this cabinet. Luckily it's only on there with staples. Now it's on there with a buttload of staples, but it's only on there with staples. I never glued it in. And then I can put a spacer on it and then reattach it. That's the only way I can think to handle this, because I go without a back for a while. I could certainly do that. This is that beautiful flooring material. I don't want to mess it up. So I cannot sand the glass. I cannot make it narrower. The only thing I could do is maybe notch this front edge. If I notched the front edge where the glass hits it, that might be less of an impact than trying to cut into this, because I'd have to cut the whole way back. Whereas if I notch this wood on the sides, that might give me the better solution. Hold the phone, we'll figure it out. Huzzah! I can cautiously announce success. I've taken the top back out of here into the operating slab and brought out perhaps the only tool I have not used in this project, which is the wonderful side cutter, or the trim cutter. Oscillating multifunction power tool is what I call it. And what I needed to do was just cut a little notch there, so that I can slide this guy. And I might have to do it on this side as well. Just a little notch right here on this front edge with this cutter, and I'll touch it back up with paint, and hopefully you'll never notice. But I just need to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 more times. Okay, it's literally the ugliest work I have ever done. But we're going to see how successful it is, because we're getting late in the day on Sunday, and I need to get finished and get on with my Sunday evening. So to dust this out, I am not going to get out all of my tools to get the compressor out to blow the dust off of this. Like I say, I am running to the finish line. So I'm going to broom this out as best I can and take it inside. I love a happy ending. I got to tell you. Yes, there it is. It's in. All of the shelves are in. I did have to take a little bit of the nibble out of those front edges. I'll tell you, a little bit of black paint you'll never notice. And this was the quickest and the least obstructive and intrusive way of doing it. I just had to take a tiny bit, I don't even know if you can see it, off of the inside. A little bit of black paint on that will fix it right as rain. But I didn't have to take the back off to shim it. I didn't have to do any of that noise, and the shelves are all in. And more importantly, the shelving unit is done. All I need to do now is fill it. But that is another report. This is the wrap up of this 2 chapters of shelf building, because I have accomplished the goal that, I'll turn the light back on. I have accomplished the goal that I had set out to do. The shelves are in, they're built, they're beautiful. I couldn't be happier. And even though I've got more models out here on display, my favorite right now, they're taking up less space because they're on glass shelves and you don't see all that clunky wood in between them. And I can actually give some, I have more room for them to breathe. We've wrapped another project. It was one of those projects that, of course, took on a life of its own after I started. My simple idea was to make a couple shelving units. That snowballed into, hey, while you're at it, why don't you reorganize your tool closet so that you can find your tools easier? While you're cutting wood, you might as well. And hey, while you're doing that, your clothes closet really could use some help. I'm glad I didn't bore you with both of those projects, but it was over the span of, 2 long weekends. Holiday weekend to finish up and a 3-day weekend to start. So something you can certainly do on your own. I'm no wood carver, wood master. So using the pre-dimensioned wood, although you gotta check it because it says that it's 3/4 of an inch wide on it. Check it. It says it's a foot wide. Check it. If it says it's 3 feet long, definitely check it. But a lot easier than trying to glue up panels, which was my only other choice, and I really don't have the time, the interest, or the space, frankly, to be gluing up a bunch of panels to make, wall panels and whatnot. And I still like it better than buying finished cabinets for 2 reasons. A, I designed the cabinets to specific use. The shelves were spaced for specific books. The model shelves were spaced with the idea of getting some particular models in, the Enterprise that needs a 14 inch clearance instead of a standard 12. That kind of stuff you just don't get when you buy either prepackaged put together furniture or pre-made furniture. And I've got a little car. I can't go to a store and say, hey, I'll take that chest of drawers or I'll take that 8-foot shelving unit, just throw it in the back of the Honda. It ain't gonna work. So taking the parts, bringing the parts home, and it feeds my modeling mojo because I want to build things. And I look at stuff, and not only did I create what's on the shelves, I created the shelves that they're sitting on. So it feeds my creative needs. So sorry to ramble on about it. I promise next week we'll get back to actual modeling, but it's just something that needs to get done. And thank you for your attention, and say good night to you, and may the shelving be yours.